Hello guys and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. Germany has begun the invasion of the Low Countries. It's quite a horrifying experience as one could imagine. Now, only Luxembourg has fallen, and they've dealt a decent blow to my 3rd Corps sitting on the mine of Bray. I don't know. It is definitely a weak point in the line. Funny enough, right next to the Ardennes Forest. I'm like half tempted to move an army over to Verdun just to be careful. I'm definitely going to swap this guy out and put just something else in its place, like a corps. We have plenty of corps available. I don't know if the corps will continue to absorb the amount of damage over here or not, or if an army, for example, might be necessary. We certainly have backup armies, but we are expecting quite a push nevertheless. So right now we did finish these fortifications that I was wanting. That is very good. So we're going to go ahead and swap here. This is something we definitely needed to do. We had also set up fortifications, I guess just right here, because this is a town. Let me turn off the units. You can see this is a town. This is a mine. That gives some entrenchments of defense. We got some right here, yeah. And I got like this backup over here. I am a little nervous about this, but one thing I'll do right now that should help. I'm going to reinforce this heavy tank. This heavy tank will be able to head this way if need be, regardless. For now, bodies should be enough, as I expect this will see some massive fighting as well. The more of these French units that get to fight and die for their country, the better, rather than Paris just getting bum rushed. Of course, we really don't want them to get around a Maginot Line fortress. That's really not ideal. We'll move the 3rd Corps down to Nancy, move the 1st Corps into its place because it wasn't going to have any entrenchment anyway, just due to the situation. We'll move the Polish 1st Corps up just behind that, and then I could potentially do with moving an army in this direction, just to be careful while we wait for the tanks. Just to be careful. I'm thinking closer to the British side, maintaining our defense to the north as much as possible, but we gotta feel out what wiggle room we have. I do hate to give up entrenchment. That is sad, but it is a fact of life. We'll fortify in this direction as well, I suppose. I don't know if I want a 3rd side to really guard the whole way here. I feel like I don't. I feel like that is not what I want. In which case, bringing it across the river to benefit from having the river might just be better. I think that's closer to what I want. We could fortify facing that direction, 2 sides, yeah. So if we lose up here, we just kind of retreat behind the river. That might be better. So this hole is plugged. This is good. Can't reinforce that for now, but we do need to reinforce the fighter. Fighter's very important. British fighter as well. Bring that back up to max. We do have another British fighter that is going to definitely come down here and join the fight. I'm going to say right here would be good. Has some decent, not perfect range. For example, it cannot protect the 1st Corps here. Be unfortunate. Maybe here would have been a better spot. I don't know, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, these Netherlands fighters are just going to die. So let's not leave them here. Let's move them down to Dover, where maybe they can do some good in this turn. And by being in British territory, if they have any chance to kind of stay free, because that's a modifier, that'll do it. The Corps, meanwhile, will just put in The Hague just to delay the Germans at least a little bit. We can try to save the Dutch ships. Though, when France falls, I don't really know what that will end up being worth. But we'll try to save the Dutch Navy. There's no point letting them die. The 1st Belgian army will sit where it is it will die where it is. I don't really think there's a point reinforcing it. I can, just to maybe get one more hit out of the enemies, try to slow down their push. It's June, so they're just gonna keep pushing for the time being. Though, do note, so far, they've lost, in terms of MPP value of their units, roughly as much as they've dealt. It's kind of a 1-to-1 ratio right now. And combined value, UK and France, they could put up a fight. The problem is it's mostly France that has all the units here. Britain doesn't really have very many units to actually use, and they're all technologically advanced, as we see. Infantry weapons level 1, that's unfortunate. It is what it is. Not a lot of chance of winning there. Or even holding out, more accurately. We did finish Indie Tech with the UK. I would like to continue that because Indie Tech equals money. That leaves us with only 232 remaining. What to do with these MPPs? I say we put it into getting the one and only special forces that we can get, make it the Royal Marines 1. These guys are offensively equivalent to an army, defensively equivalent to a corps, slightly more money than a corps, and yet they have some amphibious capabilities, long range, that doesn't really matter here. But it's just this affordable thing that I can give mobility and anti-air as well for the long-term use. They get built with a 5-turn delay instead of a 3-turn like a corps, but it's fine. I don't really imagine they're going to end up in France. If they do, that's cool. That means something good must have happened. But it's a unit that would be pretty useful in Africa or Greece, is kind of what I'm thinking. So I'd like to grab this one. I already went ahead and invested into some more fighters because I figure we might need those. Quite happy with that, and we have the artillery coming. Just on the ground forces is kind of what I think we need now, and special forces, very versatile choice for that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that, leaving me one MPP, one whole MPP. We do have some Canadian, like, core, tank, etc., HQ eventually coming. Look at this, is like yearly right here. But why do all the Canadians come in September? That's weird. Regardless, the Canadian core will actually spawn first. Now this can function under a British HQ just fine, so it can be forward deployed whenever, wherever I want. So that's cool. Seeing as it's coming with the artillery, that could potentially come in handy. I just thought this was funny. So there's an Italian unit that has showed up in Bardia on the border here, probably because they see our units and they know they're getting close into mobilizing. What I find so funny is where this unit is from. Can you guess? You probably can't. If we look at Italy, where do you think it's from? Here or here? If you picked either of these, you're wrong. It's from here. This is the Albanian Corps. They transported the Albanian Corps from Tirana down here. Now, I think in this game, Italy might start with 2 corps over here, not 1. But regardless, that is hysterical, because they're not thinking ahead to their invasion of Greece. They're just trying to move, thinking of this front that's going to open. That's what they're doing, because they see my units here, probably. Which puts the Greece question on the table. It makes it more viable seeming, because, you know, Italy would start that. It would be Italy initially. UK would have time to funnel resources over there, and then Germany would just eventually come in. Meanwhile, the USSR is just constantly building up. They're at 197 MPPs. The strategy is going to be a little bit different now, because, as we see, I did not invade the Baltics. And that's going to change things. That is going to change things. For the better? Gee, I don't know. But we're sure going to find out. Now, with these developments, I can pretty safely move these armies south. Maybe replace this defensive line with corps, in fact. I think that would be a pretty good idea. Yeah. Now, to make that happen, I will take the first corps, we'll probably move them first. Send them, I don't really know how far we need to go with this, but I'll send them right here. I'll send you guys down to this forest, replace them. We don't need to worry about the entrenchment loss or anything, because they're not going to enter the war anytime soon. It would be hilarious if they did, because the Germans wouldn't be ready for it, and all the Frenchies would not die so much in vain. But, yeah. And then, like, Romania, and then they don't really join until later. So I'm going to leave these guys just up here for now, strengthen this, even though, you know, there will be more deployments and stuff to worry about later. Not now. This corps will head up to Polotsk. I'm going to send this corps down to this defensive position, maybe. It seems feasible. It seems smart. Stuff would eventually gravitate here. So send that down there, send you over here. This kind of stops them, zone of control wise, from proceeding down this road to begin with. So I'm not like too worried. We have a corps down here, not an army, but that's fine because, well, it's entrenched in a forest. But they're not going to come through the swamp. Can they go around here and inflank it? Sure, but they can inflank in a lot of locations here. So there's only so much I can really plan for at any one given period of time. I don't know what unit to put right here, for example. I don't know what the hell to do with this. Production-wise, it's not like there's a lot in the production to begin with. There's just a lot of stuff that will spawn once the war starts. Second NG can move back here to create a kind of defensive line alongside Kiev. Go ahead and fortify there. Lots of spread out corps here. One army where a lot of this stuff meets up gets to the industry, though this industry will be moved by that point. I'm highly tempted to move this one up to this spot. This will be the main area Germans should be coming from. They can pour in through elsewhere. There will be another army that will spawn before any such war begins, and I can, of course, spend myself as well. Not much is really just up to me. I wonder what the MPP income of the Soviets is now that we're at 78%. MPP-wise, what are we at? Because it was at like 150. We've gone up a good 10%. Was this 150? Is close to 160? That didn't make a huge difference, I feel like. It's still slowly going up, though, so hopefully it ends up doing something worthwhile. There's some industry that's just not even activated right now. Something that's going to be very necessary that I want to get researching is anti-air. Anti-air is obviously going to be important. Though I do need to buy units at some point too. It's not super necessary this early, but I think I'll go for the research, get some anti-air defense, because anti-air defense will be invaluable. A lot of things would be invaluable, but we only have so much money to spend. Only so many units to place. Oh yeah, here's another army. That's right, there's a whole nother army. I don't know what exactly to do with you. I'm tempted to send you over here. But I could also just send a different army down there. Maybe you could replace this corps. Well, you have a lot of movement to do to get down there to begin with, so might as well get moving. No matter where you're going, you gotta get moving. And at the very least, I'll get this HQ up to 8 plus 3. We have 31 MPPs. That's fine. America is still building its up. France has a little bit to spend, but nothing to spend it on. Though, well, it's got the HQ. That could, yeah, sure. Max out the HQ. That could bolster its capacity for sure. Definitely. I feel like I should have sent him east, but didn't have time to, you know? We could try bombing, but none of our fighters are ready or capable, so there's really no point to try that when we know that they have so many fighters up. Oh, we do have a fighter, actually, but it's moved, so I don't think it has any, intercepts, no. So that's pretty much as good as done. We don't plan on moving this, not yet. We have to wait for Italy to get involved, otherwise we just provoke them into the war. Let's not forget about our boys Aight. We have not gotten attacked by a submarine. I will take that as a win. I don't know for certain that this path is safe, so we'll just go there normally. I can be assured that this path is safe, at least, and then start going back the other way. So we can get this guy fully repaired and then upgraded as well, even though it's not super necessary. Not super necessary, no. A maritime bomber over here might be great to defend this location, but yeah. Otherwise, we're just going to stay on the defense, because that's how the stats will favor us. Going on the attack would be quite suicidal, in fact. Oh, and that's right, Brussels. Well, yeah, let's get a couple more hits. Let's let them hopefully take at least one more hit to kill this. Maybe focus some more air power there, sure. Anything that delays Germany even one turn stops them from getting MPPs, which they're going to get a nice influx when Belgium and the Netherlands fall. They're going to get a pretty nice little boost there, which is not going to be the greatest, but it is what it is. Not much else to do without a Pacific front, so let's go ahead and hit end turn. And they are raiding us. I wonder where. We strengthen the home guard. Yep. Spying and intelligence. Okay, logistics. Breakthroughs, but not done. Artillery weapons. Breakthrough. Advanced tanks done for the USSR. Breakthrough on Indie Tech. That's a good one. It's a good one. Is the Canada route being raided? No. Sad. Oh well. The Germans are on the move. Their paratroopers seizing like a single town. They're reinforcing. This is what I hoped they would do. Reinforcing next to that. Okay. Netherlands fighters, I think, are the ones flying. Yes. 4 damage dealt to them, though. 1 to enemy. And it's still doing this glitch. I don't know why, but I was hoping that they would... Oh, what the hell? But they're bombing? I was hoping they would leave that core alone because they just got there, but they're actually bombing it. 2 damage dealt to their fighters, 2 to mine, 2 to mine again. No idea how many to any of their bombers because of this weird glitch. We're just going to have to live with it, I guess. 4 on the Hagues being bombed as well. The tank moved all the way up north to deal with it, huh? Okay, I don't mind that. Going after Brussels with prepared attacks. 2 and then 4 damage. Oof. 3 damage, but this is not terrible. This is pretty good how much effort they're having to put into this. Now, hopefully, that core next to Luxembourg should be able to entrench. That's what I'm hoping. So I'm happy that they reinforced. They're going after the armies finally. We're trading blows. Woo! Semi-evenly overall, honestly. Ooh, they are attacking. Wait, what? How'd you do that? Oh god. Was that the core? Enemy core? I guess so. It hurt. That's gonna be a problem spot. I should have put an army there maybe, but I still think the idea of this main, like my Maginot, you know, my low country Maginot is still a good idea. Okay, at least this guy getting attacked, this core isn't a farce. We just... French morale suffers as German forces advance. Yeah. Belgium surrenders, yep. Germany plunders 133 MPPs. Oh, that's gonna suck. Netherlands surrenders and 109 MPPs. I think their ships just got deleted. That sucks. It is what it is, you know? Italy prepares for war. That means not this turn, but next turn they will be joining. Refugees block roads, affecting Allied supply in northern France. Oh no. German morale boosted as the Maginot line is outflanked. I think this is just going to keep firing. German advance spreads fear through French forces. Yeah, this is just going to keep... Oh my god, look at all their morale die. This is just going to keep firing. Okay, it's recovered a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, the morale is not happy. It's not having a good time. The Brits are having a good time. They haven't been attacked at all. They're just chilling. They're just hanging out. The Germans have completely avoided attacking the Brits up until this point. At the very least, that means this little spot is safe. It just means that the Frenchies are going to be having a bad day. Oh man, this sucks. This is just god-awful. That's what this is. Woo! Look at that French morale. Look at it. It's at 64% already. That is just terrible, man. That is so sad. They never stood a chance. Okay, let's reinforce these fighters. Coastal Command fighters. Get those up to snuff. They're safe enough for right now. We got the number 11 fighters. I'm going to move this down just next to Chalons. So they're in the middle. They can be a little more versatile. We lost those Netherlands fighters. There's fighters here in this carrier, technically. This technically counts as that. I'll go ahead and reinforce them. It's something, depending on if these guys get bombed. For what that's worth. I maybe could have kept some carriers over here for that purpose, but it wouldn't have changed a whole lot. Their range is not huge. Okay, we have one entrenchment. None of the other cores are really primed to take this. Did I not decide to move you here? And I guess I just didn't, huh? Wasn't that just so smart of me? I could have sworn I had decided to move this army down here. I guess I just forgot to. Well, isn't that something? Oh boy. Well, in that case, I'll just leave the army be for right now. I'll force march instead these tanks over to the forest over here, just to get them in the correct location. We'll hurt their morale and readiness, it's fine. They're not going to be attacked this upcoming turn. We'll reinforce the core that's actually chilling, because there's really no point doing anything else. They have a little bit of entrenchment. Best of luck to you. The Frenchies didn't lose any on their fighters, so that's good. That's really good. We'll reinforce the 8th Army, get them up to snuff, as well as the 7th Army. Go ahead and fortify our lines there. The attack was distracted up here by The Hague and Brussels. It's not going to be distracted anymore. The British are going to get attacked. Now is going to be when? Probably. This whole line's probably going to come under attack. And certainly this poor core is going to come under attack. France, 124 MPPs remaining. We're going to reinforce the 3rd Corps back up to snuff fully. And 79 MPPs remaining, that's really all we need to do. There's always this guy. I don't know if reinforcing interrupts fortifying. I don't know if I want to learn that right now. Okay, now we see the MPP bonus that the Soviets have gotten. They've gone from about, the 150 range up to slightly over 180. Now we can see it actually on the graph. That's good. That's better. That's certainly better than what France has. It's not as high as I expected, but it's certainly better than what France has. Slightly over 120. Although their infantry, the Soviets, are even worse. They're worse in this game than World at War, and they're worse than the French are right now. And the Germans are going to keep advancing this whole time. The UK still operating with between 300 and 350. Not bad, not bad. Research, the Germans haven't done any research in a little bit. They're spending it all on this invasion. So at least for now, there's not a whole lot of that. Which is good, I guess. With 212 MPPs, I have some options. Tanks are obviously going to be super important for the USSR. I believe some tanks will spawn for free. You can also buy some more in due time. I can't stack on infantry weapons, so it is what I can on anti-air defense. So advanced tanks are important. Definitely will want more. But, you know what else is important? Advanced fighters. And I do believe we'll get some more fighters. I don't know if they're in the production. Some of these might be fighters. I don't know if they're in the production, but we'll definitely get more. So those two things are pretty important, both offensively and defensively. Everything else, it's a little questionable on the actual value of the research. Let's think more defensively overall for right now and go for the advanced fighters first, just because Germany has a lot of air power. That's one of their biggest strengths at the beginning. They just get to flex all this air power. So let's go ahead and research. I'm going to force march this army down closer to the woods here. I'll move this guy back a bit, I guess. Also, let's move you here. I can move you over there. And then let's set a new fortification. I guess this way. Yes. So here and here. Sure, and zone of control can hopefully take care of that spot. That's my hope. You can go back here, you can go back here, I don't really know. I'm gonna say over here just to be sure that we have this nice and filled in. This path is not really as important to begin with, so force march, there you go. Army is headed down that way. We're pretty good in that respect. It's about what I can do with the Soviets for now. America can get a research going. Now, I think I'll start with some command and control. That sounds good to me. 87 MPPs, not enough to really do anything with. These warfare ones are all going to be important for America. America's the one that does everything, remember. Though I'm sure they'll be a little bit nerfed here with the idea that some of their resources are going into the Pacific. Probably not going to be making as much at max production, I'm going to assume. Found that damn pesky German. Right there. He didn't do anything. He went into silent? Can you raid in silent? I'm confused now. I don't know, but we went on the attack. We dealt some damage. Pretty good, pretty nice. We're going to just keep heading down the path with this Canadian. The other Canadian's going to tow it on into Belfast, where it's going to get reinforced and upgraded, not this instant, but next turn. We're still only dealing with the one sub, which is nice. Guess I might be able to move these naval assets. Behold, my masterpiece. Before you start vomiting in fear and rage, let me explain myself. As weird as this may look. So I got the idea to put the Frenchies here to kind of like lay a little trap with a sub. If they show up to do any raiding, bam, we catch them, ambush them, we're good. But we're placed just in a way we're not really going to run into the surface fleet. So enemy surface ship shouldn't be a problem. Then the Brits, I got the idea of just having a massive response force around Malta. But I figured if it was glomped up too much, it wouldn't be as appetizing. So I stretched it out, putting the tastier ships at the edge. The screens, in fact. And hoping to lure the enemy in. And so that's what happened. That's what I just spent the past couple minutes doing. This is our naval deployment. I hope you like it. I don't know if the AI will be able to make any sense of it, because I almost cannot make sense of it. However, I think that's all we have to do this turn, because I'm not spending these British MPPs. I have plans in my head, and they do not involve 228. They involve more. So, we're also out of time for this episode. So I'm going to call this one here. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.